What's happening, guys? It's another Super Bowl Sunday scan coming at you. This time I am not going, although it would have been a perfect time to go while there's snow outside and it's right in Florida, and Brady once again is at the Super Bowl. So, it is what it is. I've gone to 4 Brady Super Bowls. This would have been the 5th for sure if the circumstances were a little bit different. I'm recording this today, which is Saturday, and I just wanted to get it out ahead of time so one, I could, chill out tomorrow, and two, let you guys be able to digest it before you get into food and drinks and, kind of game ready. So rather than nobody watch it and, you got to cram at 10 or 11 p.m., at least you guys can digest the material and still enjoy the game without having to worry about it. So, first and foremost, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is I put out a tweet on Friday night, and I said that there isn't one way to do this. Find your own path and what works best for you personally, your personality, and not your friends, right? So I've got a great friend circle of all different types of traders, and everybody right now is crushing it. But what's interesting is everybody's crushing it on different things. There's no right or wrong way to do things. So, what may be good for somebody else may not be good for you. And the second part was that I want to talk about is trading at peak performance and what that means to me. So, just to kind of dabble on the first part and what kind of works for your personality. I probably could be trading even better right now. However, I like to look at both sides, right? And, had I made different choices, had I sized in larger at times, and I went through the same swings or the same trades that I took, would I have made different decisions? Would I have been more upside down than I was on a particular trade, which maybe would have triggered me to cover, right? So right now, I probably could be at 3x or 4x where I am, and I am firing on all cylinders right now. However, I like to look at the other side. Some people can deal with huge drawdowns. I don't want to go down $500,000 every single day like some of these guys do. It's not for me. I'd rather have a little bit less and then, try to make as much as I can on the backside. I'd rather do this with as least stress, as least headaches as possible, right? While some other people, like to go to battle every single day. And, I've done that in the past, and, I could probably battle my way out, but it's just not for me. And I want to have fun at this. I want to, treat trading with a little bit more respect and not necessarily have my P&L swing, at some of the ranges that you see out there. So, the other thing here too is, I've got, and I've mentioned a couple people on prior scans, but, OTCs are a great way to build accounts right now. There's so many OTC sub-penny type names that are going to a couple pennies, 10 cents, 15 cents, whatever. BRLL was a swing trade for me. Once again, Cody was in my ear about it. But he sold. I held. And I still have about half left or so. But it hit, I think, 18 cents or so on Friday. And, he was in from subber. I was in maybe from a couple pennies. And I still got half left. So, there was that one. There's TSOI, which went from subber to about 4 cents. And it's consolidating nicely. Then there is 2 other big ones, TSNP and ALPP. And this is why OTCs are so hot, is these stocks literally went from 4 cents all the way up to $7, the $6 billion market cap. And then the other one that I just said, TSNP and ALPP ALPP went from 4 cents or so to $7. TSNP went from 000, 1, 2, 3, 4, that range, to almost 160 or 170 on Friday, something like that. Those are legitimate moves. Legitimate, huge volume. Anybody could have gone in and out at the same time. It's not like they just kind of ran up on, really light volume and, you play the shoulda, coulda, woulda game. But when you look at the liquidity, it was not possible. It was possible. It was possible on these things. So what people are doing is they're starting to see like, oh my gosh, I just need to buy and hold. So these OTCs are starting to go, insane. And we also got a little bit of a kind of a preview of that in NASDAQ land this week. Obviously everything's been crazy with GameStop, but we got a little bit of preview because we had these stocks that were going up 100, 200, 300%. So then that started on Wednesday. And then Thursday it started to compound. There was a lot of 400% movers. And then Friday it was just like, everybody's like, I'm not missing this one. And, all these stocks just went nuts off the open. Maybe it's a new algo in town. I don't know. I don't care. I just hope that it doesn't stop. Right. And, on Friday, sometimes you can kind of make that assumption that they might leave. They don't want to take that risk over the weekend, and you saw that on BSQR, you saw that on what was it, AAMC or something? Yeah, AAME, where they literally came in, created a trap, squeezed everybody out, retrapped, squeezed everybody out, and then walked. And you can go back and look at that candle, and like I said in the room, make sure you're recording that action. There's so much you can learn when they stuff it and then unwind it. And, you want to look back at those recordings. And, everybody's always asking me in this week, everybody's, some of the questions for Scan, can you teach tape reading? Can you do this? Can you do that? There's no one way you can't read a book on tape reading. There's no one way to learn it. You have to watch it over and over and over again, and see it in different scenarios. So my answer is always screen time, because the way that you interpret certain information may be different than the way that somebody else does. And the only way that you can kind of go back and look at that is by recording those big moves. So, in the room on Friday and Thursday, I suggested that people record these moves because there's so much information that you can take from it. And you can get free recorder online, you can pay for one, but you can just literally record, 2 or 3 names at once that are going crazy. And then you can watch it back. Watch those key levels where you see, a stuff move and a slam and all that kind of stuff. Watch what happened kind of leading up into that particular stuff. And I think that you can pull a lot of information away. So I just kind of wanted to lead with that, OTCs, NASDAQ, no matter who you are, swing trading, there is so many ways to make right now. Has to fit your personality. And like I said, I probably could perform even better than I am right now. But for me, it's about firing on all cylinders. And if I were to oversize something because, I felt like, I was right and I end up being wrong, and it goes into a few circuit halts, which is a real risk now, when you get on the wrong side and, ends up going $1, $2, $3 into a circuit halt. That's not fun if you've got a couple 100,000 shares, right? So for me, I'd rather take a little bit less and scale on that backside of the move after the exhaustion, after failed follow through momentum. And so that's why, and exactly what I've been doing in the room as far as keeping everybody safe, giving those levels, reminding people that it is not failed follow through momentum, reminding people that it has not failed to follow through. Because the only way that you're going to blow up in this market is by fighting trends, right? And, there hasn't been a lot of 50% declines. Even with offerings, they're getting absorbed. So, you used to have that, and I'm not saying that there isn't that risk. There always is that risk. There's always market risk. But right now, the way that offerings are getting absorbed is not like before, where you do an offering and it slammed 50%, right? So, I was having this conversation, and when you get on the wrong side of a short, it could take 15 good trades from you, right? You could be right on 15 different trades and crush it. It only takes that one short trade that you're upside down on, that you went, too big, to take it all away and then some. Whereas when you're trading long, right now, yes, there's always that market risk, like I said, and maybe you have one stinger, but it really only takes one big winner out of 15 names to cover all the other ones, even if they all dropped, right? So you guys saw OCGN as well as Lizzie and all these other, names lately. It's just a great market right now. And it's a great market to be long, like we've been talking about for, a very long time now. And for me, as somebody who prefers to be on the short side, it's been really a great adjustment, and I'm happy that I've been just going for it, and I will continue to go for it until the music stops. And like I said, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. You're starting to see this stuff, just compound every single week, and I mean, I'm over 2020 now. And I am just so laser focused that I don't want any outlier type trades to take me off my A game. And so that's the point here, is that, find out what works with your personality, because if I had a Kodak moment right now, and, even if it wasn't even a huge loss, but it was big enough that it took me off my A game, then, I'm not going to be as, not to say not as confident, but it's going to take some adjustments, right? And you never know how you're going to react right away. For example, with Kodak, when I lost $1 million, I was very fortunate the next 3 days to get it all back. And had I not done that, who knows how long that it could have taken to kind of come back. So I've always been kind of a reset, refocus. There's nothing you can do about it, and move on kind of guy. But there are those trades that you're going to get smacked around on, and you just have to make sure that you either minimize that loss or be able to reset quickly. So for me, I'd rather not size against a trade, miss out on opportunities, and then be able to get the meat of the move on the backside. So that's for any shorts that I'm taking. The second part, the point that I wanted to make, was another tweet that I put out this week, was trading at peak performance. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine. And, this past week, it's been very different for me, where, I'm still getting up early and I'm still getting prepared, but I'm not like, I gotta find the trade. I'm ready to go. It's not that anymore. And, it's been like that for probably the last quarter, where you just wait. You wait for that trade to come for you. The desire to, gotta be in is gone. And, that is when you're trading at your peak performance. And the desire of, being in a trade goes down. The patience for the quality of the trade goes up, right? So you're waiting for the best of the best. You don't need to do these little trades anymore. You're waiting for that one big opportunity to, capitalize and then move on, wait for the next. And, that's kind of in the points the last couple of videos where, I say, get out of this mentality where you're just scalping, right? That is not somewhere where you're going to have exponential returns. It's an income, right? Scalping is an income. But if you want to build wealth, if you want to exponentially grow, then you need to think about macro. And so when you're trading at peak performance, you're waiting for those macro trades, those bigger picture trades. When you lose, for whatever reason, you decide that you're going to stay at your desk longer. You're going to wait, and you're going to trade more. You're going to force trades. You're going to try to find trades. You're going to try to work your way out of trades, and you stay at your desk more. And so right now, I've been around a lot, but I'm waiting, and I don't need to be in the trade. I don't need to be there pre-market, forcing a trade from 8 to 9. I might take something from 7 to 8 a.m., but then I'm hands off. I want to wait for any size until post open. And, even after open, you need to almost wait till 9:45, 10 a.m. on some of these crazy ones, just like you saw on AMC, just like you saw on AVXL this week. So think about that when you are in the dumps, when you did have a loss, when you are, kind of going through a rut. Why are you changing what you are doing right now from what you're doing when you're trading at your best, right? So think about how and what you do when you're trading your best, and you should be doing that when you're trading your worst, because that's how you get out of those situations. That's how you rebuild. That's how you continue to be great. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to bring that up to you because it's got to be a good fit for your personality. Otherwise, it's not going to last for you. So we're going to go into the giveaways, and then I will go ahead and go through the rest of the notes, and then we'll get right into scan. So first and foremost, the giveaways, I'm going to do them all this week because, why not? You guys left a lot of great comments. Once again, there's probably another extra 100 comments with somebody with a WhatsApp number and all that kind of stuff. We never reach out to anybody with a WhatsApp number. We're never soliciting anybody for anything in the comment section. So, avoid those, report them as spam, whatever you want to do. But just understand that, that's a bot or something like that. So, first one is Icon Meals. We are giving away a box of food, which is, I think, 21 meals for the week. So you get 3 a day, and it's what I do every single day. I've had a lot of meal prep companies. I've tried a bunch of different ones. I thought I had found something great. Todd had reached out one day, like I've said, and said, try us. You won't be disappointed. And, that's what I've done since. So this week, Christopher Shellner. If you're interested and you're US based, you're going to get the free box if you're interested. If not, we can, do a month of IU or whatever you'd like. And if you are interested, you can use IU free ship. Again, it's not a promotion. It is just what I truly believe in. Momo Traders book. We're going to do Emil Malston. Probably killed that name, but you got the Momo Traders book. Kevin O'Reilly, you've got IU for a month. And Matt Mattis, you've got free t-shirt for this week. So you can also check out all of the apparel that we have. We have a new Embrace the Chase shirt. And it was supposed to get to me on Friday, but the snow screwed it all up. So that'll be on next Sunday scan. However, you can still order it. And anybody that orders shirts this weekend, I will match dollar for dollar for Traders for a Cause. So again, we don't sell the apparel to make a profit or anything like that. All proceeds of it goes to Traders for a Cause anyway. But if you guys do grab any IU apparel this weekend, I will match dollar for dollar to Traders for a Cause. All right, last but not least, we're going to go rapid fire through the next section. So GME, AMC, when we do these Sunday scans, a lot of times they're just perfectly timely, when you need to hear it. And, I took a lot of heat for GME and AMC and even CLOV and SNDL, right? You've got these perma bulls, people that are just so perma biased in any one direction and will not hear the other side. And if you ever have, an opposing opinion, you become the enemy. And I get that. I respect that. I know that, but just know that I am not, trying to be biased or, push a short on, because I'm upside down or anything like that. I'm just trying to give good information. So, most people appreciate it, but for the people that, decide to turn that into, attacks and just ridiculous comments, that's fine. I mean, you saw what happened at GME and AMC and CLOV and SNDL. My comments were about $1.30. But, if you want to ignore it, you saw what happened this week. So, you either have a choice to take the warnings and learn from it, or ignore it and, the market spoke for itself. So I'm not always going to be right, but when I do see a situation where I'm 95% sure, I'm going to mention it. And, like I said, I won't always be right, and that's fine. And you can, say what you want, do what you want. But the market spoke for itself. I hope that you guys, stayed safe. That was the craziest movement I've ever seen on GME and AMC. And, the same movement created to, beat anti-Wall Street. I mean, everybody lost. Everybody got smoked. and it sucks because it was I've talked to more people about this than I have about Bitcoin, like, to date, like I said. So that's when I knew it was bad. But you never want to underestimate the downside. So we are at peak FOMO. I mean, everybody, like, as soon as something's going, other things, everybody's looking for the next one. And there is just so much, if something swipes up, I mean, people are just afraid to miss everything right now. So that's been my strategy still. Embrace the chase. Like I said, that doesn't mean that you just go and chase every single name. But for me, if I see something swipe up, it starts to consolidate, starts to build a trend, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to give it a shot. And if it continues to go, I will continue to scale. So what else we got? As far as 5 long-term ideas. I just kind of wanted to do a little update. PUBM hit 52-week highs today. So that was an idea at 24. I've only given 5 ideas that were kind of long-term ideas on Sunday Scan. One was CRMD at 5, which I stole from Michelle. Michelle was long at 5. She was like, I like this story. I like this name. I like, everything about it. And it started to kind of, trend. I liked it. I got long. And I shared that one with you guys a while ago. Hit 17 or 18 bucks this week. PUBM, like I said, actually there was 6 long-term ideas. But one I screwed up. OZON, which I did have and I sold out. I really wanted to be patient with that one, but for whatever reason I screwed that up. COUV, which was an OTC, which is held. That was at 2 cents to 5 cents. And then Tiger and BQ. So occasionally, whenever I see, a big idea, I've shared them. And I'm searching in any, really good ideas that you guys see that have similar charts. The chart pattern. So feel free to share them because I'm always looking for good story stocks. But, as you saw, BQ, the idea was at 6. It's already at, it was over 12. So I sold half and I'm just going to ride the rest and, see what happens. If it goes back to flat, whatever. It's a free trade at this point. So Tiger, I sold out a little too soon. It went nuts. And the last notes I had was the OTC. Room is starting to pick back up. Cody and Miley, M. Riley rather. They're always on OTCs. I don't know how much he posts in the room, but Cody did say the OTC room was getting nutty again. So and that's because stuff like TSNP and ALPP and all these other names that are going crazy. So anyway, that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about to start the day or start the scan. It's literally the craziest market I've ever seen. As I've explained to you and said, I don't know if this is going to last for how long, but I don't see a reason why we can't get another year out of this or more. There's never been as many traders. There's never been as much volume and volatility and action. There's never been as many shorts, right? A lot of people are short biased too. So this is like insanity times, a million. And I hope it continues. I really think we've got another 1 or 2 years minimum. And like I said last scan, even when it turns, I'm ready. I love shorting. So we got to ride it. And these are career days, career years, career months, whatever you want to call it. But you've got to get, head down, focused, and don't focus on what other people are doing. Focus on you and getting better and better and better and better. What could you have done, right? And, just like the shirt says, process over profits, right? You start focusing on profits, you're going to go the other way. Focus on compounding whatever process works for you. And just like I started by saying, that's different for everybody. It has to fit your personality. The second you get out of your comfort zone, you're going to start having all these emotions coming in and things like that. You don't want that. You want to stay on your A game as long as you can, compound as long as you can, because you don't know how long this is going to last. And, I don't see it going away anytime soon, but you don't know. You don't know how long it's going to last. So now is the time to make sure that you are zoned in, focused, and let's get into Sunday Scan. All right, guys, second part. First and foremost, as you know, this is for educational and informational purposes only. These are my ideas. This is what I'm thinking about doing. This is how I personally will look to trade. But the idea of doing these videos is for you guys to kind of get an idea, learn, and see what I'm thinking about doing so that potentially you can get better as a trader. It's not a buy or a sell recommendation, as you guys know. And as always, we put the disclaimer below. OCGN. Insane move. This one's over 8. It's almost 9. I think it was 860s or so after hours, 880s. And, it's insane. Trap, just continual trap of shorts. It was holding relatively well, right? This had a huge day, huge volume, 410 million shares, and then it started to pull back that next day, got bought up, ran the next day, but then it was holding oddly well. And so on Friday, I had said in the room, and I also even shared the idea on Twitter, as you guys saw, and I've received more responses than I ever have, so I saw a lot of people nail the trade. So congrats if you guys took it, you saw the trade set up. I don't think it could have set up any better. And so basically the trade thesis was if 330 started to base and it started kind of curl up into the close, I felt like it could be a 30 to 50% squeezer. That was the idea on Scan the night before. And then during the day, as it started to kind of pull back, retest, it held VWAP, came back up, held VWAP, started to go. At that 340 point, I knew it was game on versus 320. So I'm risking 20 cents to be potentially right, 50, 80, $1. It was 5 to 1, basically. Did I expect it to go to where it did? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have sold any, right? But if you're on the right side of the name in this market, and obviously I kind of got out earlier than I should have because I was trying to be a good dad and watch my daughter ski and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't want to be checking the phone and trying to sell at the same time. So yeah, I missed out on a big opportunity, but that's okay, because had it gone the other way, I would have been equally upset, or probably more upset. But either way, perfect ABCD type breakout situation where it should have died. T+2 situation where likely the cover started to come in. More of like a liquidity issue where it went from 410 million shares to the next days was only 70 and then 70 again. So still a lot of volume, but not anything compared to the 410 million when it doesn't pull back. It literally didn't pull back. It gapped down one day, and if shorts didn't cover, they were not up. They were not up anymore. And then as it came back, you can see it pretty much retested those prior lows, held, and went on. So with that said, we've got a squeezer. And they trap more after hours. So ideally, blows everybody out, goes to 10 or higher. We'll see. There was a lot of volume at 7 after hours. It felt like a trap there as well. I noted that in the room. And, we'll see what happens. So hopefully we've got some craziness, just like you saw on Lizzie, as well as, all these other names. But I don't need to get the top. There may be a reactive trade that I take, and that's a smaller trade. I'm not going to go crazy size into, parabolic move. The only time that I'm going to size is post-exhaustion, post-parabolic, failed follow-through, scale into a trade that is failing. If at any point it stops going down and it starts to kind of go sideways, that's fine. I'm all set. I'm going to size down. Even if it cracks again, I can still get back in. And that's the difference between what I'm doing right now and maybe other people that are getting stuck a lot are not doing, right? Because you're on the right side, you're like, I have a good average. I'll wait. All of a sudden, swipes up, and it's too late. You're screwed. So for me, I'd rather make less with less stress, less headaches, because I know I can always get in more as it goes my way. I don't need to be in a situation where it's 50-50. I'm over that. And consider that. If you find yourself getting squeezed out a lot, consider, once it starts to slow down, going down, Once it stops unwinding, once it starts to go sideways, forget it. You can size down. You can always resize back in. So hopefully we get some big gap up, reactive trade. We'll see what happens from there. AREC, just an insane move on Friday. Reactive trade for me. That one worked out extremely well. You guys saw I posted the post or the chart. Hopefully, we have another opportunity. In a situation like this, I typically look for it to retest VWAP. Hopefully it comes back up and then fades off. Hopefully fades off onto the radar. The thing is there's just so much running right now. Whatever the hot 5 names are on Monday are going to pull all attention off these names. So that you'll see that a lot of these names will just kind of die off and fade off and probably not have much volume. So I would love to, let these things exhaust out and then be part of the backside move. Not normal for me, but I have 2 OTCs on watch, the ones that I talked about. So, at some point, I'd like to trade the backside here, and I do think we're going to have a 50% drop potential. And that doesn't mean that long term, that it's going to stay down. But these types of charts, I've traded them before. I used to trade a lot of OTCs, but these types of charts are the types that will squeeze out and just unwind more than you can imagine and then rebound more than you can imagine. So the key is don't step in front, be part of that downside, trade the panic on the cover, and don't try to be a hero and wait, because once they turn, it's very hard to cover. It's very hard to cover. So if you're not familiar with OTCs, stay away. But for me, ALPP and TSNP are now on my radars. These are the 2 that I said one went from 4 cents to $7. The other one went from 000, 1, 2, 3, 4 range, whatever it was, to $1.69. That's not a small move. So I don't think that they're topped yet. I hope they're not. I hope that this one goes through 250, blows off and gives us an opportunity. And same thing with ALPP. Hopefully it goes to 10. But I am watching, I am interested, and I will be prepared. So, and it might be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever the case may be, but there is going to be a massive correction, and I hope that I will be ready for it. I'll be watching it. Failed follow through. AAME. This is an example of the current algorithm in town. You can see that very similar BSQR and AAME. Awesome opportunities, and I got long actually both. Join the trend, embrace the chase that I've talked about. It was worth the risk to me to chase a 50-cent move for the potential of, maybe it's the next one, right? The chart was good, the trend was good, I was happy with it. So I did, and obviously I sold too soon. Traded it short a couple times, and I left it alone. I'm probably glad I did, but at the same time, had you waited for the backside, I was gone for the day at that point. But you can see this nice big stuff move. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Recording your screens, watching this action, watching how this candle reacted. This is the candle that you need to review. That is the stuff move. You can see it, the volume associated with it. And that's where you need to go back and watch screen time, the recordings over and over and over again. That's how you learn tape. It's not by me saying something. It's not by somebody else telling you read this book or that book. None of that matters. Watching that action, watching that candle is what matters. And it's not always going to be just a stuff move and that's it. It's how it reacts after the stuff move. There's a lot of times there's stuff moves and pulls back and then they accumulate. And if they're accumulating, you need to take note. So BSQR, same deal. A little upsetting, but just like I said, I was positioned very well in the 850s for the short. I was never upside down on it. I had some fantastic scalps in the room, for dollar pullbacks, and I was actually long first, and then I got out, and then I traded it short a few times. I was positioned extremely, extremely well, and I just said, screw it. At $7, I was like, I'm going to be upset if this goes another couple bucks with my size. And if I ruin my day, I'm going to be, more upset than if I miss this opportunity. And I did miss this opportunity, and it's aggravating, but I'm not mad. And so I think there's a solid point there, right? At what point are you more upset about the loss that you just had, did you really need that one more trade versus the money you missed out on? It is what it is. So either way, the reason I didn't really put a plan on those two yet is because they're the same. So hopefully, higher the better. Exhaust out a few, shorts that maybe overstayed, and then they probably just trickle down. One of these might, catch in the next day or two. Anytime there's this massive volume, sometimes you'll have that T2 cover where T+2, on Wednesday, Thursday, whatever the case may be. If the stock has not traded enough volume, if the trend has held, but in this case, I feel like shorts are very, very well on the right side. So unlikely. Higher, better, unlikely. TTOO. This is one that could easily build and continue to go. So I don't want to sit here and say it's going to come all the way back despite being prepared for the short side. I'm prepared to short it. If it has trouble at 330s and it stays heavy at 320s, I like it versus 330 risk. However, if it starts to consolidate over 3 the next couple of days, we could be going 4 or 5. So I don't want to sit here and just, be short biased. I am looking for that fade if it stays heavy, because I do think other people are going to be looking different areas to put their money on these momentum stocks. But if it continues to base, and you can kind of see that it pretty much, held this 3 line pretty well, except one pullback. If it continues to base there, then, forget the trade. It could potentially go higher, just like OCGN did the last couple days after it consolidated on that big move day. So LIZI, insane. As you guys know, I had a little bit of a spider sense on that one. I got long, this day right here on the gap that morning. I had a great trade. I told the room I was thinking it probably could go to 7 to 10. And so it went from, the 450s to 7 that day. I unloaded a bunch into the strength, just like I suggested. Like anytime a stock goes that much that fast, you should be locking some in, at least around the core. And then I rebought the dip. Into the close. I wanted a weak close because I just had this sense that it was different this time. We've had a lot of times on the daily where it's gone up, it came back, gone up, came back. And this time just felt different. It held over the prior resistance, right? We always look left, and it was holding well over those key levels. So sometimes, just like I had tweeted, the weak close is the trap in itself. It keeps shorts happy, it keeps them up, they look good, they're excited, and then all of a sudden the next day it gaps up $1.60. So fortunately I was on the right side of that trade, and I added in the morning because I had such a big cushion. I was willing to risk half of that gap, so I ended up doubling up my position, and we got that nice squeeze out. So we got the 10s. I felt like I was the man because I sold at 10, 75% of it. And then it went to 12, and that's as far as I made it. I sold out the rest, and then guess what? It's 19, and then actually 20 or whatever. So don't ever think you're the man when you sell at 10. Then it goes to 20. But either way, also posted that chart. Awesome short on Friday, and this is a perfect failed follow through momentum. So anybody that is in the room, go check out the broadcast from 8:50 a.m. I did a little bit of a trading recap, and especially why I was interested in that short trade, and it just worked out perfectly. They're not all going to work out that perfect, but that was just a perfect situation and great opportunity. Same thing with LAIX, which is next, but here, same deal. Higher the better, look left, right? So, hopefully we come back in towards that VWAP level. You can see that it's kind of the area of resistance, and then potential unwind. All of these trades, I think, will have one good trade, and then let them chill out for, a couple days. Let them consolidate, and if they have a secondary move, I'm interested. If not, forget it. LAIX, Another one, same deal. You don't need to find the top, but plenty of room after the fact. And even if you missed and did not trade any of this crazy action off the open, you've got these pops versus VWAP. We always talk about pops versus VWAP. And you can see support here, key level right there. You can also see that this prior support right here from pre-market becomes the resistance. And then this support cracks and you get the big trade. So great opportunities. I only got a piece of it, but it's a great market. And it's a great market if you're patient and you don't try to be a hero and try to get the top with size. If you try to get the top with size, you're going to go broke. So another nice opportunity. And hopefully we get some type of push towards fives before it ends up unwinding a little bit more. We'll see. Good volume, good chart leading up into it. But it just got out of hand. And just like JG got a little out of hand too. It had a massive gap. And this is what I was talking about. It's sign of the times. It's the FOMO. Everybody's they want to be part of the next thing. And just like on Sava this week, right? So once GME happens, people start to look at trades differently, right? 30 to 60 is no longer a big move because you just saw a stock go 30 to 60 to 180 to almost $500 or 500 pre-market one day. So the point there is that you got to kind of think about how the masses are thinking. And right now, 10 to 60 or 10 to 20 or 20 to 30 to whatever it may be is nothing. It's nothing. There's such big moves. It doesn't matter. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. So anyway, higher the better on LAIX as well. Pins. Next opportunity, hopefully you can see that there's a little bit of resistance right over here at the 82.50 range. So I'll be watching to see how it reacts towards that level. It's been pretty straight up and it's been holding pretty steadily. So if it does not recover and start to base over 83 range or so, I'm going to be watching for a potential profit-taking day. It's been pretty straight up and it easily could continue to go. But if it stays heavy, I will be looking to trade that for a quick pullback, just like the SFIX trade where I was interested. Certain things happen on the chart, kind of gets exhausted, and if it starts to get heavy, we might just have that one day that it just kind of pays out a little bit, just like XONE. XONE is straight up, but you saw on Thursday, it did the nice failed follow through momentum. I posted the trade. You guys can go and review it, but it gapped up and it failed. It stayed heavy versus VWAP and it gave that pullback. It does not mean that long term that's the top. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going for the highly probable, profit-taking pullback before it potentially continues higher. And that's really a big discrepancy between, the people that leave comments about, they're a perma bull on something. That's fine. I am just looking for the opportunity in between, the trend up, the pullback, consolidate before it goes higher. I'm good at timing that pullback, and that's all I care about. Doesn't mean that I'm bearish on the entire company. So I know that that's hard for some people to understand, and that's why, I get a lot of heat at times. But, just understand I am looking for the opportunity and then move on. JG, like I said before, this was just insanity. Completely blew out shorts and then pulled back. Maybe I'm happy that I missed it. I think I got there a little bit later in the day. Just nothing, really, I didn't really make a big trade. I just remember at one point I was like, yeah, I might as well look for a trade. I paid for the locates, which you shouldn't do, by the way. But I didn't really trade it. So great opportunity, but even better, if you go back and watch the broadcast, like I said, there was 2 stocks pre-market that I said were edgeless. And JG was one and LAIX was one. Why? Because if we only saw this information so far, right now it's 50-50. It could go either way. And same thing with JG, same information that we were given, could go either way. Why are we getting biased when it's over VWAP, when it's holding trend? That's where your biggest risk is. That's what I'm talking about. It's better to be late than 3, 4, $5 too early. And you can see the difference. And if you go back and watch that broadcast video, you just click the dashboard, click the calendar for Friday, and you can watch it. But that's the difference between those and something like, what the heck was it? Lizzie. There's a couple of them. Lizzie, where we are gapped up and then we are under VWAP. We've failed, came back. We've failed, we've come back. We've failed. And the same thing with TTOO, I had gone over. You can see the difference between this trend and those where that one is over VWAP and holding, or sideways, but over VWAP. And this one, which each time it tries to get back over, it fails. Dip buyers have become pop sellers. So don't try to figure out the trend when it's sideways. That's your biggest risk. And if you're right, congrats. If you're wrong, you're probably really wrong. So don't try to be a hero and figure that out. So that was pretty much the scan. I do have 2 bounce watches. And then as always, you guys can click through to the website and see the other ones that I'm staying familiar with. Staying familiar section is just me staying familiar with these charts. They interest me. I'm going to have price alerts, and I want to be able to react that much quicker. Feel like I skipped. Oh, I did skip. See, I am sleep deprived. Long side. CYCC. Nice breakout. This is on zero hedges, most hated kind of biotechs, aka most shorted. So if this starts, this is another one where it had a relatively weak close, right? So if you think back to Lizzie, if this were to gap up, 950 or so, then shorts are probably still, in a bind. And if it starts to consolidate and base over 950s, I'm really interested. I am long this. I traded it a little bit on Thursday as a swing trade, so I have a pretty low average. Nice breakout. I had trimmed a little bit, but like I said, I was just holding. I'm gonna let that one work because I've got a low average. So if we gap up and we get over this 950 level and start to base, I think that there's a potential that it could go, 10 to 15 if it wants to. It just depends on the momentum. There was a lot of momentum there on Friday, and hopefully we have some good follow through. ORTX, I started in there on Friday. I like this type of setup, but I need to be proven right. So, we're at this prior resistance level, so I want to see 750 start to base, and then I want to see 8 start to base, and then I would scale in. So far I have a starter kind of position. ZOM, Z-O-M, I have as a continuation because I think that it can continue to grind a little bit. But I want my eyes focused on it because there's gonna be a great trade soon. Whether it's over 220, 250, I don't know yet. But I'm hoping that it continues to squeeze out. This is just another insane trade that it's one of the most bloated pigs at 10 cents, 20 cents, and then they did the unthinkable, just like SNDL and all these other ones that went from diluting to billion-dollar market caps. It's an insane market right now. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't make sense. But shorts are getting railed who continue to fight the trend. So there is those opportunities, just like this day right over here. There is a short opportunity. Again, just because I'm looking to short it does not mean I'm bearish on the entire company. I'm looking for that major opportunity, that A+ opportunity to get in, get out, and move on. CTRM is set up. This very well could be, very similar. I traded that one long on Friday. I think I have a small position left, but that one's a nice chart breakout. OTLK, I'm going to look to get back long. I got long on Thursday when I said in the room. I got long on Wednesday. I added on Thursday, and then we had a massive gap on Friday, so I went ahead and sold just because it kind of felt like there was a little bit too much happening at once without much of a pullback. So I thought it got a little extended. I'm going to look to reposition verse 2 if it starts to consolidate the next couple days. Cody, COTY, nice breakout chart. Assume that it's going to fail. So I want to look to get long verse 750s if we start to base. Not a hard stop at 750s, but I want to see overall, whether it's 730, 770, 750s. I want to see that kind of start to form as the base. And then if it starts to take on, this 780 level in base, 8 in base, I would start to scale in accordingly. SBCB breakout chart. I'm going to look to position if this continues to hold. CLVS, nice breakout chart. I actually was here for this move up. I held it for a few days. It ramped up. I never sold that day, and it just kind of like popped the next day. I was like, I'll move on. And then it popped again, and I'm not involved. So I'd be looking if this starts to base versus 920s. I'm interested. And then, like I said, 2 bounce setups. Sava, the way that I would be trading Sava is just like GME. Very similar charts. And we might have that, in a perfect world, we get the gap down, flushes out, market exits, things like that. And then we get, circuits up. And you can see how GME played out. And it literally doubled almost off the lows. So I would love to see Sava essentially come, probably won't happen, but 38 would be amazing, right? But gap down, 44, 43, flush out to 38, and then maybe a rebound to 50, 55, something like that. That would be perfect. And if so, then AVXL should go with it. You want to assume that it's not, but, again, this was another nice trade, exactly like AMC. So hopefully we continue to have these opportunities. It is literally a amazing market, and if you're not performing where you want to be, it's time to focus on you, not others, and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. You gotta focus on process and figure out what you're best at, because this is how you start to excel and exponentially grow. If you're always looking at what your buddy on Twitter made, you're not going to get there. You need to focus on how you're going to get there, and that starts with the process, the foundation. I repeat myself every single week. If you're focused on somebody else, they're always going to make more. Somebody always makes more. So remember that. Give it up. Focus on, be inspired by it. I'm inspired. My eyes have been opened from many different traders that I know. And, kind of reverse engineering, okay, yeah, he traded pretty decent size on that. That is an opportunity. I should be doing that. I could be doing that. But it's never I'm making that trade to try to catch up. Okay, so be inspired, reverse engineer, think in terms of foundation and how you can better yourself. But never chase the profits, because if you do, you're going to go down. So that's it. We'll see you in the room. If you guys have any questions, you know the drill. Leave your key takeaway in the comment section below. And, we'll do lots of giveaways next week, as always. And make sure you give a like, because, it's the nice thing to do. Have a good weekend, guys.